Good morning, grade sixes, and welcome to your daily lesson of mathematics brought to you by WorksheetCloud.com. Hope you guys are well. Just a reminder of the email address on your screen, grade6@WorksheetCloud.com. Please feel free to email me any queries. And then just another reminder about previous lessons, activities, and memos that you can access on WorksheetCloud.com. We've covered multiplication strategies, division strategies, addition and subtraction. We've looked at various types of numbers, factors, multiples, primes, and then we looked at fractions, decimals, percentages, and now we were on to some shape and space, and today we are continuing to look at polygons. Okay, so there I've just explained what we're going to get up to today. Polygons continued, and then either side of that are warm-ups, our mental questions, and our challenges. So before we move on any further, there is your warm-up activity for the day. It took me a couple of attempts to actually solve this problem, and I definitely used trial and error. So press pause and let's see how you get on. Guys, as I said, I used trial and error. And if I look at the top line, I've got two kittens with bubbles around them, or blowing bubbles, and one crying. So I know the blowing bubbles kittens must be the same. And I started off just looking perhaps two numbers that are the same, add a third to get 23. And I started off with 8, and I went 8 plus 8, 16, plus the 7 is 23. But then when I went down to the next few lines, I saw that 8 didn't work. So then I went back and I used 9. So I used 9 for the bubbles, and that's 18. 9 and 9 is 18, and then I added 5 in the middle to get to 23. Then I needed to check if these things worked. So if I had my kitten blowing bubbles were 9, then my kittens with the scarf on would be 10 each, because 10 plus 10 plus 9 is 29. So far my numbers are working. The crying kitten would be 5. Two crying kittens would be 5 and 5, which is 10. Okay, and then the two kittens with the scarves would be 10, 10, and 20. So 20 and 10 and 5 is 35. Okay, so it works there. And then we just need to go through the bottom part, and the bottom part, 2 kittens blowing bubbles is 2 times 9 is 18. 2 crying kittens is going to be 5 and 5. Sorry, and that's multiply. 5 and 5, which is 10. And 2 kittens wearing scarves is going to be multiplied by 20. Okay, now remember, order of operations doesn't matter when it comes to a multiplication sum. So we can either go 18 times 10 is 180, 180 times 20, which is 3,600. Okay. Alternatively, I can say 10 times 20 is 200, and then 200 times 18 is 3,600. So you can play with the order and make it suit yourself, which is quite nice to have. Okay, let's move on to our mental arithmetic for the day. Well done for working through that warm-up activity. Let's move on. Okay, so I've got 600 pieces of paper, or 600 sheets of paper are used from 5 packs, each pack holding 480 sheets. How many sheets are left over? Question 2, there are 65 liters of diesel oil in a tractor tank. If the fuel is used at the rate of 15 liters per hour, for how many hours and minutes can the tractor be used for? Question 3, find the change from 100 Rand after spending 20 Rand 46, 30 Rand 77, and 15 Rand 40. Question 4, addition and subtraction of fractions. And question 5, 448 divided by 28. Now don't panic if these 5 questions take you 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever it might be. Press pause, work through them, read through the problem more than once, try and identify exactly what they're asking you to do, and press play to see how you got on. The first thing I want to do is figure out how much paper there is in the 5 packs. So for that I'll have to go 480 multiplied by 5, and you've got various methods to use here. You could double and half, so I could halve 480 to 240 and double the 5 to 10. Now it's pretty straightforward what I need to do, and that's going to be 2,400. Okay, so that's how many sheets of paper there are. If 600 pieces are used, I need to subtract 600, and my answer is 1,800. You could have also done 400 times 5 plus 80 times 5 is 2,400. It gets you to the same place. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, question 2. There are 65 liters of diesel oil in a tractor tank. If the fuel is used at a rate of 15 liters per hour, for how many hours and minutes can the tractor be used for? So there's quite a lot of words there. There's quite a lot of detail, so you need to figure out exactly what you need to do. Right? 65 liters of oil. If I use it at 15 liters per hour, how many hours and minutes can it be used for? So I need to know what is 65 divided by 15. Okay? 15 liters 1 hour, 30 liters 2 hours, 45 liters 3 hours, 60 liters 4 hours. So if I've got 60 liters in 4 hours, okay, that means I have an additional 5 liters. Okay, so I need to try and convert that 5 liters into minutes. All right, so remember 65 divided by 15 is equal to 4, remainder 5. Okay, and that remainder 5 is also written as 5 over 15 because we are dividing by 15. Okay, that is equivalent to 1/3. All right, and we know that 1/3 of 60 is equal to 20. So that tractor can go for 4 hours and 20 minutes. Okay, cool. Question 3, we are finding finding the change from a 100 Rand note after we've spent 3 amounts. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to need to do there is I'm going to need to add those amounts. So just looking at addition of decimals again, and the key message here was to keep the correct number in the correct place value, line up the decimals, and then just add normally. Okay, so 6 and 7 is 13, carry the 1, or carry the 10, sorry. Then we have 10, 40, 70, and 40, which we can say 4, 7, and 4 is 15, plus the 1 is 16. Okay, so that leaves me with 160, so I put the 6 down, and I carry the 1, which is the 100. Okay, 100 and 500 gives me 600. Okay, and that gives me 66 Rand 63. I now need to subtract 166 Rand 63, and again, with your subtraction of decimals, it's really important to keep the numbers lined up. Okay, so if I just edit this and I put 100,00, and I now need to subtract those amounts. Okay, you know that I'm going to need to borrow. So that becomes 10. I need to borrow from that. That becomes 10. That becomes 10. So I need to borrow from that. So eventually I've got 10 minus 3 is 7. 90 minus 60, or we say 9 minus 6 is 3. 9 minus 6 again is 3. And 9 minus 6 again is 3. So 33 Rand 37 change. Now just to check, what I need to do is I need to add 66 Rand 63 and 33 Rand 37. That needs to give me my starting price of 100 Rand, or my amount of 100 Rand at the beginning. And if you add those two amounts up, you'll definitely get 100 Rand. Okay. Question 4 is addition and subtraction of fractions. Okay, and I'm going to write them as improper first, so I'm going to convert them to 21 over 8 plus 5 over 6 minus 5 over 3. I need to find the lowest common multiple of 8, 6, and 3, and that's 24. 8 goes into 24 3 times. 21 times 3 is 63. 6 goes into 24 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20. And subtract 3 goes into 24 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Now if I work that all out at the top, I'm going to get 43 over 24. And you may convert it to a mixed if the question asks you to do so. And that's going to be 1. 24 goes into 43 once, and 19 over 24. Okay, great. And then just a question that's posed as a long division question. And you should be looking at those numbers, and I hope that you've identified that 448 is even, as is 28. So what can I do if they are both even? The dividend and the divisor are both even. I can halve. Again, the dividend 224 and the divisor 14 are even, so I can divide again. So that's going to give me 112. And now I've got a short division sum. So my short division sum for me is a lot easier than doing a long division. I can now break 112 up into 70 and 42. I know that 70 divided by 7 is 10. I know that 42 divided by 7 is 6. If I add them together, I get 16. So 448 divided by 28 is 16, as is 224 divided by 14, 16, and 112 divided by 7 is 16, okay? Now, if you hadn't have done that method, okay, and you had decided to keep your numbers in your long division, for long division, then I would have gone 10 multiplied by 28 equals 280. Okay, I know another 10 is going to be 560, so that's too many. So I'm going to say 5 multiplied by 28 is equal to half of 280, which is 140. If I add them, I get 420. Okay, so at the moment, 15 multiplied by 28 is 420. I need to add 1 times 28. All right, to give me 28, because 28 and 420 is going to give me 448. So therefore, 10 plus 5 plus 1 is equal to 16. And it's the same answer as before. Okay. Either method's great. And you guys have obviously got the choice to choose. Okay, so that's our mental maths for today. Let's get on with our main topic, which is polygons. Okay. Now, as we know, a polygon is a 2D shape made with line segments which are enclosed to form a region. Okay. 2D because it is two-dimensional, length and width, or length and breadth. It's got no thickness. Okay, so that's the 2 dimensions. There are the line segments which are called sides. Okay, and the corners are called vertices. So it's one vertex, many vertices. And just notice that the vertices are labeled with capital letters. The sides could be labeled with smaller letters. Okay, so there 2D stands for two-dimensional, and these 2 dimensions are length and width. Polygon has no thickness. Okay, So here's a table just naming polygons according to their number of sides. We know that 3 sides is a triangle, 4 is a quadrilateral, okay, 5 sides is a pentagon, 6 sides hexagon, 7 sides heptagon. It can also be called a septagon, 8 sides octagon, 9 sides nonagon, and 10 sides is a decagon. Okay, so make sure you know the names of those sides, those shapes, or those names of polygons and how many sides they have. Right, then the next part about polygons is a regular or an irregular polygon. So a regular polygon, as you can see from that hexagon 6-sided shape in front of you, all the sides are equal and all the angles are equal. Okay, so that is a regular polygon. Then you get a convex polygon where all of the interior angles are less than 180 degrees. Okay, that's a convex polygon. And then you get a concave polygon. And in a concave polygon, some of the interior angles are more than 180 degrees. So you can see there is an internal reflex angle there of more than 180 degrees. Just back to regular polygon, an irregular polygon is one where not all the angles and sides are equal. Okay, so regular and irregular polygons, convex and concave polygons. Another way of thinking about concave polygons is the second part of the word concave is cave. And we know that a cave goes in, and you can see with that bottom shape that there is an angle which has been formed by 2 sides going into the shape, forming what could be thought of as a cave. Right, so I need you to identify the polygons. So which of the following are polygons? That is a polygon, yes. Okay, I'll give you a couple seconds. Is that a polygon? No, it's not. And if your reason is that it's not a closed shape, then that would be absolutely correct. Is that a polygon? No, it's not. And the reason being that not all sides are straight. Okay, so polygon has to be straight sides. Is that a polygon? Yes, it is. Okay, and we can count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I have. So that's an irregular nonagon. So irregular because not all the sides and angles are equal. Okay, and if it's more than 9, okay, then you should be able to tell what shape it is. Is that a polygon? No, it's not, because it does not have straight sides. And the last one, it is a polygon because it has straight sides. Okay. All right. So there's just some differences between what makes polygons and why polygons aren't exactly polygons. Right. So then we have a pentagon problem. Okay. So here I want you to have a look at the interior angle of a regular pentagon is 108 degrees. And this is something that you will touch on further in grade 7. So I always think it's a good idea to give you a little bit of an idea of what's coming along. And this would be interior angles of polygons. So the interior angle of a regular pentagon is 108 degrees. And how do I know that? Is because if I draw 2 diagonals from vertex A, I can make 3 triangles. Okay, so remember, diagonals are lines that go from one corner to another corner, okay, not to its adjacent corner. So I can't draw a line from A to E as a diagonal because A to E is already there. Okay, but my first diagonal would be A to C, and my second diagonal would be A to D. Those are the only diagonals I can draw in a pentagon. Okay, you can also see now that the pentagon has been divided up into 3 triangles. All right. We know that one of the properties of a triangle is that angles in a triangle add up to 180. Okay, we also know that in a pentagon, a regular pentagon, all sides are equal. Okay, so if I look at the yellow triangle, I know that side ED and side EA are equal. Therefore, that yellow triangle is an isosceles triangle. So therefore, the base angles of that isosceles triangle, the ones I've just identified, will be equal. Okay, and we should know that we can label those angles as DAE and as ADE for the bottom one, and that they are going to be 36 degrees because 180 minus 108 is going to give me 72, and then I need to split 72 in half because it's an isosceles triangle and those base angles are equal. Okay, so if those are 36 degrees, then we know that that's going to be the same for the blue triangle because those two triangles are going to be exactly the same. All right. And then we can move on and we can deduce that the remaining angles are 108 because the interior angles of a regular pentagon are all equal. So we take that as, we know that. So what's left to make those angles 108 is 36 for angle A of the pentagon, 72 for angle C, and 72 for angle D. Okay, so that's just a little bit of a glimpse into what might be coming in grade 7, interior angles of polygons. And regular polygons, it's really straightforward. You've got to split it up into triangles. We know that the sum of the angles of a triangle are 180. And then you've just got to look at the characteristics of the triangle and determine whether there's maybe an isosceles triangle. Perhaps in another polygon it could be different. But remember, all regular polygons, all sides are equal, all angles are equal, and that allows us to work out the interior angles with triangles. Okay, the next shape I want to get onto is a circle. And we know that a circle is a set of points equidistant from its center. Okay, so that's your center and that's your circle around it. So I'll do that again. That's your center with your circle around it. And equidistance means that any place on the circle is the same distance away from the center as any other place on the circle. Okay, so that's what equidistance means. A circle is one continuous side, and the distance around the outside edge of a circle is called the circumference. Okay, and that is now in red. Okay, the radius is the distance from the center of the circle to the circumference. So there's your radius, and your diameter is twice your radius, and that is the distance across the width of the circle through the center. So those are some important parts to know about the circle. Then we get arcs and sectors. An arc is a part of the circumference, so any part, doesn't matter how big it is, all right? And when an arc is bound by two radii, so if I draw my arc and I join the ends of my arc to the center point of the circle, then I create a sector, okay? And guys, that's it for polygons. So we've looked at regular polygons, irregular polygons, concave, convex, and we just discussed the differences between them. So quite a lot of theory work in that lesson. So just to get you back into actually doing some maths again, I've got a new activity for you to do. And in this activity, you're going to do magic squares. So in a magic square, all the rows, columns, and diagonals must add up to the same number. You've got 3 magic squares there. Press pause, give them your best shot, and then press play to see how well you did. You may not repeat a number in a column, square, or diagonal. Okay, so it's all different numbers in each square. Right, off you go. To do these in your own time at home, remember to get the answer of 24 using any of those operations, or all of them, or one of them, or 2 of them, and see how many different ways you can come up with the answer of 24. Grade sixes, thanks very much for watching today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Please stay on top of your work, and when you get back to school, you're going to be ahead of the curve. Well done, and see you tomorrow.